It regularly begins enfeebled with something small. You sense a peace. Extra worn out. Mountaineering the stairs or your knees. Take only a second longer to push off the sofa. Maybe you've informed yourself. It's simply aging. But here's a fact many docs don't say out loud. When your legs begin feeling susceptible, it is now no longer simply age. It is a caution signal. Your frame is missing something essential. After 60, we lose 1 to 3% of our muscular tissues each year. Quietly, no ache, no swelling, till one day we discover ourselves retaining on. Too simply to live consistent. The horrifying part, partitions, it sneaks up at the same time. As we are nevertheless eating typically and going approximately our lives. However, what if I informed you there is a manner to turn it round in only days? No gym memberships, no painful remedy, simply 3 nutrients. Subsidized with the aid of using technological know-how. Used with the aid of using actual seniors, and they may repair your stability, your strength, and maximum, importantly, your independence. On this video, I'm going to reveal you precisely what the 3 nutrients are, the way to use them, the proper manner, and what symptoms to search for on your frame to recognize it is time to behave. We are now no longer simply talking idea right here. Medical research, actual data, and easy day-by-day behavior that make a big distinction. And in case you live with me to the quit, I'll additionally come up with a day-by-day diet timing plan. It has helped heaps of older adults sense confident on their toes once more. Earlier than we dive in, I'd like to recognize wherein are you watching this from these days? Drop it inside the comments, and in case you discover those fitness tips useful, ensure to enroll in Health 365 so that you by no means omit every other step in the direction of more potent, more healthy dwelling. Let's begin with the primary and maximum overlooked. On your muscle groups and bones diet, the only that actually flips the transfer lower back. A near pal of mine, Mr. Walter, 72 years, vintage, got here to me. Now no longer lengthy in the past, and stated something that cut with me. I sense like my legs are betraying me. I am eating okay. I stroll a bit each day, however I nevertheless sense like my steps are getting heavier. Idea D3 turned into only 4 bones. I requested him one easy query: have you checked your diet D3 stages? He laughed it as wherein maximum seniors are misinformed. Diet D3 is not only for bones, it is a grasp transfer. It does not simply support calcium absorption. It reactivates your complete muscle and nerve system, especially the legs, right? Here's what technological know-how tells us. After age 60, your pores and skin becomes D3. Thinner, your liver and kidneys gradual down, and also you spend much less time with inside the solar, all you sense. Great now of those lessen your frame's capacity to convert daylight into usable diet. It is why even in case your legs would possibly already be slowing down without you knowing it, whilst D3 is low, your frame subtly weakens. You can sense fatigue while status or mountaineering stairs. You could begin dropping your stability in conditions that used to sense smooth your steps, sense heavier. Now no longer due to the fact your muscle groups are susceptible, however, due to the fact they're now no longer getting the indicators they want. Worse yet, you might imagine that is simply getting older. However, in truth, it is a correctable deficiency. Let's get unique. According to take a look at, from the University of Birmingham, members over 65, 800 IU of diet D3 day by day for simply 5 days confirmed a median 19% improvement in leg electricity inside weeks. Another take a look at via way of means of Harvard's Geriatric Research Center discovered that seniors with low D3 tiers had been 40% much more likely to fall or be hospitalized because of leg weak point than people with healthful tiers. What does diet D3 really do to your legs? It improves calcium absorption, certain. However, that is simply the first step. It guarantees muscle fibers settlement nicely, which is crucial for clean, constant motion. It reduces infection and age in muscle tissue, and it maintains nerve indicators among your mind and legs firing at complete pace. As soon as Mr. Walter started supplementing nicely, he noticed something incredible. I do not want to keep the railing as a lot once I go upstairs. It is like I were given my legs lower back. So what is the secure and powerful dosage maximum? Healthful adults over 60 are endorsed to take 800 to 1000 IU. In keeping with day, if you have had a fall currently sense incredibly weaker, or go through from osteoporosis, or join AK medical doctors regularly, take advised 1,500 to 2,000 di. In keeping with day, however, this is an essential caution, do now no longer extra than 4,000 IU. In keeping with day and under direct clinical supervision, D3 is fat soluble, which means extra builds up in your that is even. Peculiar heart frame through the years. Overdosing can lead to nausea, constipation, kidney stones, rhythms, and touchy. People assist your frames soak up D3 a lot. Why consistency now no longer extra is fundamental. How before or after you're taking it. Constantly take your D3 with inside the morning or early afternoon, and with a meal that includes healthful fat meals like eggs, Greek yogurt, avocado, or salmon. Extra successfully do not take. In mattress, D3 can barely intervene with melatonin and disrupt sleep. Are you able to get sufficient from meals by myself? Now no longer realistically. A serving of fatty fish like salmon may come up with approximately 500 IU. 1 egg handies. A tumbler of fortified milk round 100 IU. You'll ought to consume an unrealistic amount. You appear intimidating. You're of those each day to satisfy even the minimal dosage, especially for seniors with restricted urge for food or dietary regulations. That is why a complement is regularly now no longer simply beneficial, however crucial. This is the lowest line in case your legs sense heavy. If stability is grow to be unsure, or if stairs frame may not be vintage, it would simply be getting his D3 tears up. Mr. Lacking it spark plug. D3 can be that spark. Now let's circulate to the second crucial diet, one which reconnects your mind and your muscle groups and restores the self-assurance in each step you're taking proper upon. Walter informed me I experience more potent sure, however, from time to time my FT. Nevertheless experience disconnected like I ought to appearance down to make certain they're there. That's whilst I knew we had to speak approximately nutrition. B12 maximum humans assume. B12 is only for energy or reminiscence. And whilst it is real, it is most effective scratching the floor for seniors. Over 60 B12 is your fearful system's lifeline. Especially the road connecting your mind for your legs. Without sufficient B12 nerve indicators get not on time or garbled. It is why your legs may experience numb heavy, or like they may be now no longer listening to you. You could experience a atypical humming in your FT, or like you are taking walks through sand, despite the fact that nothing's incorrect with your footwear. Here's what is happening. Internal, your nerves are wrapped in something known as myelin, a protective sheath that facilitates messages to or fast and clean. B12 is critical for retaining and rebuilding that sheath. While stages drop, it is like stripping the insulation off an electric-powered cord sparks. Now here's the wander away, or by no means arrive. Kicker B12 deficiency is extremely not unusual in humans over 60. Why Modi's first, your stomach produces much less acid as you age, which makes it tougher to extract B12 from food. To D, in case you're taking not unusual meds, like metformin for diabetes, or acid blockers. Even if like omeprazole or ranitidine, they intervene. B12 absorption, your food plan is regular, it may not be sufficient. Let's have a take A. Observe the information. A study from Oxford University determined that seniors with low B12 stages walked slower, had worse stability, and have been twice as probable to fall as people with healthy stages. Any other medical trial published with Inside the Journal of Gerontology gave older adults 1,000 mc of methylcobalamin, the maximum lively shape of B12 every day for 8 weeks. The results: quicker response times, much less numbness, in FT more potent lower frame reaction, higher self-assurance, while status or turning. I don't forget one woman in that trial saying it felt like my legs began out answering the telecells Marfan again. So how do you already know in case U is probably low? Look ahead to those symptoms and symptoms tingling or burning to your FT difficulty, balancing specially whilst turning, or preventing feeling like your legs are asleep. Whilst they may be now no longer temper dips, forgetfulness, or what humans name senior moments, even moderate signs and symptoms can be caution, symptoms, and symptoms that your nerves are suffering to talk. Let's talk dosage. Docs commonly suggest 500 to 1,000 micrograms according to day of method. It is the shape your frame can use right now. No wanna transform it first. And that is vital due to the factor conversion. Capacity drops with age. You can locate B12 as sublingual drugs, melt banana. Your tongue chewables oral sprays at B12 can barely boost whilst to take alertness, so take it with inside the morning. Or round lunchtime, however, now no longer to overdo with inside the with it. They keep away from espresso or tea, intervene with absorption now. Canned food to D in case you're taking not unusual list meds, like metformin for diabetes or acid blockers like they intervene with B12 absorption. Even if your food plan is ordinary, it won't be sufficient. Let's examine the information. A study from Oxford University observed that seniors with low B12 degrees walked slower, had worse stability, and had been twice as possibly to fall as people with healthful degrees. Every other medical trial published with Inside the Journal of Gerontology gave older adults 1,000 mcg of methyl, the maximum energetic shape of B12 each day for 8 weeks. The result? Quicker response times, much less numbness in toes, more potent, lower frame reaction, higher self-assurance. Whilst status or turning, I take into account one woman in that trial, saying it felt like my legs began out answering the telecells morphine again. So how do you recognize in case you is probably low? Look ahead to those symptoms. And symptoms: tingling or burning for your toes. Difficulty can be balancing, especially whilst turning, or preventing feeling like your legs are asleep whilst they may be now. No longer temper dips. Forgetfulness, or what human beings name senior, and symptoms that your nerves are moments. Caution, symptoms, suffering to speak. Let's communicate dosage. Docs usually propose 500 ml to 1,000 micrograms according to day of methylcobalamin. Truly is the shape your frame can use without delay. No wanna transform it. However, now no longer to overdo with inside the, and that is essential due to the fact your conversion capacity drops. With age you can discover B12 as sublingual capsules below your tongue, chewables, oral sprays, whilst to take it. B12 can barely boost alertness, so take it with inside the morning or around lunchtime day. Keep away from espresso or tea with it. They can intervene with absorption. Now can food, on my own, come up with sufficient? Here is the reality. 3 ounces of pork liver hot, 70 mcg, 3 ounces of salmon 4, 5 ounce 1 egg 0. mcg 1 cup of milk, Monte Xantex, which means to satisfy even 500 mc. According to day, you would want to devour over 100 eggs or a ton of liver each day. Now, no longer realistic proper. It truly is why supplements are the most secure and most effective course is B12, he stated. As secure short as water soluble, which means any extra is flushed out for your urine, and there is no recognized overdose danger for health. Human beings, however, in case you're taking blood thinners or have kidney issues, communicate for your medical doctor first. Here is what took place to Walter weeks after beginning his B12 complement. Walked throughout my dwelling room, found out I did not wobble as soon as I did not even consider it, and that is the magic of B12. It does not simply toughen it. Reconnects it, brings lower back, the reflexes, balance, and feel of accept is true with for your very own legs. Now that we have got reconnected the wiring, let's communicate approximately your muscles, gas, the lacking hyperlink that powers every step you are taking. The remaining time, Walter and I stuck up. He smiled and stated, I don't experience like I'm strolling via moisement anymore. It truly is. Once I knew his nerves had been reconnected, his energy become coming lower back. However, there has been one very last piece. What exact or lacking strength due to the fact and sharp nerves. If your diet be one additionally referred to as thin and sturdy, most cell tissues frame doesn't have the gasoline to transport them input. This humble little diet would not get as ton as interest as D3 or B. However, it would possibly simply be the actual MVP. While it comes to restoring power, decreasing leg fatigue, and getting you transferring once more suppose of your frame, like a vehicle, D3 flips you get ignition. B1, 2, reconnects the electrical wiring. B1, it is the fuel. Here's why that subject's a lot, especially after 60. Your legs are the largest muscle groups to your frame on every occasion. Up from a chair, climb stairs, or even well it is into ATP. Without sufficient B1 stroll throughout the kitchen, your muscle groups want power with inside. The shape of ATP and B1 is the important thing element your cells use to flip meals. Your muscle groups can be healthy, however, they cannot spark off like seeking the power without a fuel line with inside. The tank now here is the twist. B1 deficiency is particularly not unusual in older adults. Why? Numerous motives. Your frame absorbs much less themin as you age. Not unusual feel medicinal drugs like diuretics and metformin flush B1 from your frame. Even mild alcohol consumption can intervene with B1 to transport or engage absorption, and diets low in complete grains or legumes frequently do not offer sufficient while mountaineering stairs. You could now no longer observe it before everything. However, over time, B1 deficiency can reason symptoms that sneak up on you: legs that worn out even after quick walks, heavy dragging sensation while transferring calf or foot cramps, dizziness after status upload, motivation and what do, shortness of breath examined from intellectual fatigue or focus. I had a client, Mary, 69 years, and she defined it flawlessly. It is now no longer ache precisely, simply this bizarre weight in my legs, like I'm usually on foot uphill. She had been consuming even exercise a chunk, however the heaviness persevered till we addressed her. Demand research display at Manamalai 21 Tokyo University located that over 30% of seniors had low B1 degrees, and same people had weaker legs, shorter on-foot distance, and greater muscle fatigue. However, here's the coolest information. After supplementing with thiamine, participants confirmed marked enhancements in stair, mountaineering on foot, self-assurance and power. Frequently inside a unmarried week, any other examined with inside the Journal of Neurological Sciences. People of thiamine day by day 2 gave 100 seniors with continual leg fatigue, 82% said greater staying power inside 7 days, 68% stated leg heaviness and ache extensively reduced, and there were no said facet consequences. So how does B1 paintings? It fuels something referred to as the Krebs cycle. Your frame's primary power factory. Without it, muscle groups do not get the gasoline they want to. Paintings get better or develop, and due to the fact your leg muscle groups are so large, they are frequently the primary to reveal symptoms, and symptoms of jogging on empty. B1 additionally allows transmit nerve indicators, especially with inside the peripheral nerves that manipulate your legs. We are speaking approximately NFT, the go with the drift among thoughts, muscle groups approximately power restoring, in motion. Now let's get practical. Advocated dose for seniors and effective experiencing fatigue or nerve symptoms. Medical doctors regularly endorse 50 to 100 blanks in step with day. It truly is a ways greater than the well-known RDA, simply 1.1 s 1.2 mi, and has been proven to be each secure in older adults. While and a way to take it, thiamine with inside the morning together along with your first meal pair with healthful fat or proteins for higher absorption. Keep away from alcohol, black tea or espresso near to your dose. They intervene with uptake. It's secure, sure. Thiamine is water-soluble. This means that your frame flushes out any greater via your urine, even at high doses. It is taken into consideration one of the safest first in case you have nutrients for seniors. However, constantly test together, along with your health practitioner, kidney, liver troubles, or on multiple medicines. Are you able to get sufficient from food? In concept, sure. However, simplest in case, your very intentional correct resets consist of whole grains like brown rice or oats, legumes like lentils and black beans, sunflower seeds, organ meats like liver or beef. However, let's be sincere, maximum seniors aren't ingesting a bowl of lentils and liver daily, and in case you're on medicines or ingesting, and much less common supplementation will become the clever alternative. Lower back to Mary inside 5 days of including B1 to her habitual, she said. I wakened, stood up, and found out I wanted to walk. That's the splendor of thiamine. It does not simply lessen fatigue. It brings lower back your choice to transport. It recharges your motivation, lightens your steps, facilitates. You consider your frame once more. Now that we have got fueled the frame, let's join the dots. How do those three nutrients work collectively? And the way you're taking them every day to get the exceptional effects. So now you understand the overall trio. Nutrition D3, B12, and B11 turns on your muscle tissue. One connects your nerves, and one fuels your electricity. However, like every crew, the timing and stability among them count simply as much. Because the components, this is a way to get the exceptional effects with the least attempt. Confusion morning, begin with gas right after breakfast, particularly one with healthful fat like eggs or yogurt. Take your nutrition, D3, that is, while your frame absorbs it, exceptional. And while you want its power-activating results, the maximum at the identical time, take your nutrition B1. This offers your muscle tissues in the day, noon energy up they want to transport. Freely, famine, electricity, at some stage wiring together along with your lunch. Take nutrition B, ideally in a methylcobalamin shape that dissolves beneath the tongue or is available in a chewable or spray. Keep away from ingesting tea or espresso around this time. They are able to lessen absorption. You will experience greater alert, greater linked, and greater regular to your feet for the afternoon beforehand. They regularly blend fats soluble, and be careful in case you're already taking a multivitamin test. The label carefully, many normal formulation for seniors. Underdose those three essential nutrients worse. Water-soluble nutrients collectively without steerage. You would possibly still. Absorption if feasible, do a gain greater. From taking D3, B12, and B1, one at a time on the proper instances. Blood, check smarter alternatives. Easy blood, take a look at each 6 to 12 months. This guarantees you're now no longer over or under. Supplementing mainly with fat D3, it offers you peace of mind and a baseline to degree your development and take into account. Grade is now no longer, usually higher. Stick with the recommended dosages. You do not want mega doses. You want consistency and the proper timing. Now permit me say this buddy to buddy, if your legs were feeling heavy, if you've been hesitating at the lowest of stride and the steps, in case your stability does not feel you deserve that. Each unmarried day find it irresistible used to do not receive. It is just growing older, or now and again the answer isn't surgical treatment or war. It is easy nutrients taken critically. Those three nutrients, whilst used efficiently, can help you regain, except as true to your frame. They can deliver lower back the pleasure of motion, the self-belief of a regular independence that makes existence worth residing. In case you determined this video beneficial, go away me a remark. I would like to pay attention in case you've attempted any of those, or be aware modifications in your strength or stability, and do not forget to love and join 365 for greater suggestions that will help you live robust, regular, and thriving after 60. Hold moving ahead, one robust assured step at a time. I am rooting for you.